The coffee is black. The robot is very dignified today. And I'd like to welcome you to the Tuesday, July 22nd edition of Modeling Blog Daily, where Bill just kind of rants. And today I'm going to rant on elevators. If you watched my YouTube video last night, I posted a wonderful elevator by Lego Dacta, and what made it so unique was it's probably the first time I've ever seen an elevator in a kit. But I want you to notice the speed of this thing. See how it's going up pretty fast? That's extraordinarily fast for an elevator. And I thought I'd slow it down. Now, to do so, I had to modify the motor. Let me show you where the motor is here, if I can get it there. So I had to gear that thing down one more time, and that's exactly what I did. So if you take a close look right there, they use two pulleys and a gear. What I decided to do was do a stack, add another pulley, and basically use the same gearing arrangements, except I added another pulley. So I added two Technique beams, an axle, and another pulley. And you can see the arrangements. I took the original, instead of going to that pulley, I went to one on the top side, and then from there a smaller one to the bottom side. And I used a spacer in there, a pulley spacer, to, and basically what that's done is slowed it down. Let me show you. Now that's more like it. You can see it's a dignified speed now. It was going just a bit too fast. I think that's so cool. In other words, one more time, all I had to do was add another pulley with a slowdown. So now I have one pulley slowdown, two pulley slowdowns, three pulley slowdowns, and a fourth gear slowdown. I'm slowing it down by 4. It's not by 4, but it's the ratio of the pulley big to small. But it's still a wonderful idea. I was debating on raising it, but anybody can raise an elevator. This, by the way, is a fabulous old-time elevator. I grew up in the 50s, and I specifically, you probably have seen these in the movies, but I remember these old elevators, you know, with the numbers and with the analog dials. These old time elevators, fabulous old elevators, not only were centerpieces of department stores, but they also had elevator operators. And quite frankly, I remember when I was a kid in Pittsburgh, we would go to Christmas shopping in Pittsburgh every year, and we would go, you know, do the Buell Planetarium route and see the train set up, and then we go to Kaufman's. And Kaufman's had this elevator, and I loved to ride that elevator because they had a guy in a nice little suit flipping this button, and that's all he did was he was the elevator man. So the old-fashioned elevators in Europe, they still have these open air elevators with cages. See, there's a cage all the way around that so you don't fall out, and it's open air. Kaufman's was like that. It was kind of like had a cagey kind of thing, but it was in a shaft. I want to show you one more thing before I close this one out. Elevators aren't unique to models. You might not realize it, but I have most of the erector sets, and I've had a lot of you ask when am I going to get back to the erector, and I'm going to get to them all, and I'm going to build them all. I think that actually erector is what started. Lego was built on the Meccano and erector Gilbert modeling, except they made it a lot easier for people to build. Well, erector had one of their, this particular book was the same one I had when I was a kid, and it builds a lot of wonderful models. They're rather simple models, but they're fun. You know, radar tires and jets and cannons, and there's a jet bomber. See, they even did subs and robots. Every kid had to build a robot, and the old radar tire, you know, and so it actually brings back a lot of memories just to look at this old set. Anyhow, they had one of the models that I built when I was a kid was an elevator, and there you go. It's a real simple elevator with it's just like this one. We got two. It's a 3-story elevator. 1, 2, 3 stories. Here we got 1, 2, 3 stories. But in this case, we didn't have the motor like. Well, we did have a motor, but this elevator is a manually operated one. We had an electric motor, by the way, pretty nice one. But this was probably the first elevator that anybody had in models. And actually, I think this is the first one I've ever seen in a Lego set. One final blurb about this model. This is not a switch like I implied in the one video. I really didn't know what it was. It's a. See, you can turn it off or on. Hear it when I turn it. In the one direction the motor is going, it makes a really wavy sound, and in the other direction it makes a kind of a pointy sound. A pointy sound and a wavy sound. Figure that one out. What a wonderful kit. Guys, if you can get a hold of this dactyl set, it's a 9702. Get it. It's a wonderful, wonderful set. In the meantime, my robot and I will say in a very dignified way, sayonara, my friend. Have yourself a wonderful Tuesday. Sayonara.